I'm going to read a poem in a moment, but before I do that, Doug Westberg has an announcement that he wants to make, so come on up.
Hi folks, I forgot to do my shameless plug when I was up here. So next month, on the first Monday of the month, is Tony's open mic at Tony's Tavern in Portland on West Burnside, and I'm going to be featured. So I hope to see you there.
Yeah, and there are definitely folks in the room who have done Tony's Tavern. I've been hearing about it for a long time. Those of you who were here earlier in the year when Tommy Gaffney read for us, I think most people enjoyed Tommy. Tommy is the person that runs that series, and that's the people I've spoken to have been there, so it's great. So I have a quick poem for you. The title of this poem came from Tiffany, and then there's some borrowing here from Patty Smith, Robert Downey Jr., Humans of New York, and Nick Cave. It's called Always Naked. We all have this channeling, this shamanistic ability. Some make more use of it than others. I got secrets, cousin. Constellations being lit by the subject matter. When you see them with space between them, they are phenomenal specks of light. But so many things become less certain. We don't have any answers to these questions, and we don't want them. We don't need them. We just need to do the work. You've got to understand your limitations. It's your limitations that make you the wonderful disaster you most probably are. Now, last line was stolen from Nick Cave. He says that in his film 20,000 Days on Earth, and I think that all of you or anybody you know who's a creative person who's trying to create should see that film, 20,000 Days on Earth. It's great. So, to hop back into the open mic, we're going to hear from the person who has been coming since the very beginning, Jim Martin.
Yes!
I like those encouraging words about limitations. You know, it makes me feel a lot better. I just have one. And it came from a verse in Cindy Williams' Gutierrez poem that she read a couple of months ago. And I need to just say a little bit about it. On PBS, they've got a series now on First Peoples, and it's very interesting. You look back and see some neat things about us, who we are. And I really like that vision where we look back either over across great spaces, all the way across the universe, and try to pull that together to where we are now, or to look back in time to who we were. They go back to who we were 63,000 years ago. It seems like a long time, but it's only 2,100 generations. And so it's really not that long ago. At the time that we were writing the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery, and the Vatican was writing an encyclical that slavery was according to natural law and therefore the will of God, to today is only 5 generations. And so change happens, but it happens slowly. And I think about that. The poem doesn't have a title yet. It's actually not really a poem yet. It's a paragraph. I've been writing a lot of prose and poetry together. And it starts with 4 lines from Cindy Williams' Gutierrez poem, Wearing Precado, or Song of a Suddenly Ancient Land. Your singing and dancing make me dizzy. Where is it the smoke? The mist from my smoldering heart. With no tobacco or mushrooms, I see visions of hummingbirds. For a brief time, I joined the ancient ones before leaving this earth. And this is mine. I have learned of you, the ancient ones. Not what I learned of your deeds, the endless childish wars that brutalize us, but of your thoughts that winged with the condors, high where they could see all and comprehend. Thoughts that dance in long, sweeping choreographies, like mare's tails, cloud formations that cry out to rain ahead, race then swirl, turn back to experience their past. That speak with words, visions which race, tumble, contradict, yet tell who we are and where, and at times why.
Thank you, Jim. Next we're going to hear from Jonathan. John, come on down.
Okay, I was unexpecting to call this, not expecting to call this. Now I'm not prepared at all. Can I carry this? Go for it. All right. This is called How to Make a Sad Song on Prozac. I believe real love makes it easy to work. Real love can make work fun, so don't ever say we're done. Inspired by you, inspired by that movie, inspired by him, he who moves through me. As Mother Nature sets her pace to come to me, cosmic meet and greet, I really don't feel like getting into this shit again. Leave me alone, man. Leave me to depressing my comfortable pen. Door won't open, my door won't bend. I'm picking a piece of potion to push back your ocean. You'll know when we're all so stoned again, the latest Stonehenge. Why is global warming without a warning? Global warming? I think it could speed up and hit us all at once. Global warming all over one morning. The rest fall at lunch. I lost you. And then I lost my best pen. Now my writing is blue. It will never be black again. It will never be black again. My print's blue. Let's make it even more new by not leaving it blue. All I've left is you. So yes, it's true. I'd be happy just to mess with you. Fuck it too. I'll turn that print cursive and it's the last thing I do. Shut me down now. My throat is closed. My handwriting needs Xanax so I can back it. So I can handle this. The message I'm trying to get out is smooth at last and stat. The world may be done. But this ain't over till my moves can't blast. We can blast us up some real fun. Now, seriously though, global warming has made up fresh love. Strained clear into a bowl straight out from the past. Time is in a cast. So are you and I alone. So are you and I alone epic enough yet to bring back the selected departed with the bless of an open. I'm gonna slow down because I'm not a rapper. Let me alright. To bring back the selected departed with the blessing and open-ended star, let's close this point. Fantasy rules reality now. So let's project. Be it quiet or let you with me be loud, but that thrill left with the crowd. That thrill, that visual. But baby, now I get an awesome vision. Get into position. For moms left only us with a brand new mission. Why would you be so proud that you'll see it as not allowed and have to give in to begin the passive role in this great mission? Sing it on in. Raw visions begin and brand new, reborn just for me, a new creator. We're starting over with Adam and you. Goddamn, no one cares or sees Eve. Did she leave? Good. Now I can believe. And all bubble and angels, then let me see, even they stay still, while having no say over a world repeat. Now, the turn Earth to the universe 360 degrees. Now every country is worldly. Now I can believe. In all of the free you will ever see, I can be me, evergreen. The best of you with me, and we'll need not a single key, because we didn't flee. So I say, watch me please, stare, but I still get blocked. So please, at least just say you will never leave. Too hurt to bleed. Tell me, yeah, yes today, tomorrow is still no guarantee anyway, but somebody's gotta stay straight. Clean up today's fate. Forget together control. Blast, crash. Look at all the valueless cash. Simply useless money stuck to the trees. Let them freeze. We don't need paper anymore. Let's just freestyle the pharmacies. But how are post-apocalyptic detoxing kits? It's good, blood thinning shit. Worry not about withdrawals, because we will all eventually ruin it. Running out of shit. How will we get free when we get sick? Don't worry, don't stretch it. Do you believe? Could you? Did you ever see this is where we'd be? Starting the New Age's first family. The end of the world? That's what got you to finally agree to sleep with me. Drawing on your love? So you were right, so we will see. It took the end of the world to begin, the newest spin. Time and patience for the world to breathe. It's good to bleed. You can give yourself whatever you need. Time and patience from glaciers and heat, from bitter to sweet. Could you really believe that you and me will never be? You disagree with what was meant to be. Destiny, designed by destiny, denial isn't free. Now, back from better to bitter to sweet. Now make it unique. Somebody has to breed. If we continue to need new meat bleeds. How could the last straight man on earth be too weak? Now Mother Nature finally has her turn to speak. The only one who's left to light on. After she steered clear the deer, after she fed the lions. Dude, do you hear what I hear? She chose us men, ever so utopian, to be the last couple for a reason, for us to find nature's last straight man, and bring him into her reborn game plan, to draw one blast from his detaching hand, then run as fast as gay can. Now this time, we're on to something. Let's see how she gets the world running. She ushered fun in, okay. Just a new breed of an ever-evolving population. Go. Us we can be ourselves now, in front of everyone. And we can fuck up in front of everyone all we want to. Just doing our best to get our message across. Fuck the nerves. But ain't it something? No one loses when love wins. Fucking button. Simple insanity, and that's all she wants us to see. Radically we have to be. It's already built in that it's us, and we can be happy. Naturally. Thank God. Mother took over. Thank you.
Jonathan. We're going to hear from Mike G.
Happy summer. Oh, that's fine. Happy summer. It's always so cool when I can make it here. Look at this huge crowd. Thank you everyone for keeping this reading so great. Wow, there were like 40 people here today at least. Amazing. I got my plasma donation squeeze ball. It helps. It really does. I'm going to read from my May 2015 journal entries. May 1. I see each slug in stillbirth leaving a trail of light. The 10-year-old neighbor girl says, it's my spiritual assignment to write about it. Mike G, out of boredom, divided he and me so that an intellectually honest and brave conversation could begin and eventually break the spell of Maya under which he'd been suffering unbearably. She skidded to a stop on her scooter. In other words, I'm a holographic projection of a higher order sent to give him peace. May 4.
Nobility of spirit doesn't just happen while sipping iced tea and a comfy pillow while getting your dick sucked on the sunny bank of the Money River, she says. Watch your mouth, I say. I am the wisdom portal, she says. When existence makes me nervous, I squeeze my plasma donation squeeze ball and it helps. May 5, I'm not looking for a sugar human to make my middle age more comfy. I found all the sugar I'll ever need in me. May 7, the great ones suffer from a particular kind of loneliness, she says, a vibrant loneliness, peopled by wisdom beings itching for expression. May 8, he gets all butthurt because she didn't turn into a frog when he kissed her like he wanted, she says. It's just one of those things you can't understand until you've experienced it, I said. Why a frog, she said. I love them, I said. May 9, every woman I've ever loved said, you got it wrong, you dumbass. We left you because we had to in order for you to become better than you are. We all said, live long and prosper. That live long and suffer shit was all in your head. We understand, they said. You were young and scared and saw it all as lost. Each laid a hand on my body. Do you understand now that we loved you enough to know when to let go? You know what? You did it! You passed advanced suffering class. Once I stopped the racking sobs, they each gave me a cookie and a good job, good effort trophy and said, don't you feel better? May 10. No time to be phony, no rest for the gifted, she says. My story has begun. Good, I said. Now go to your room and think long and hard about all the things you've been thinking. May 11. When Mike G says that life is a gift, he can't possibly mean that life is solely good, for that would be a lie, and he doesn't lie. So what I think he means is that life is like a grab bag gift, meaning you'll get something, maybe good, maybe evil, and you just sort of carry on with whatever it is and do the best with it, stamping a smiley face on the thick haunches of that beast called suffering, or tongue-kissing the hologram of joy till your teeth fall out. May 13, she gobbled his gifts and left him for mental illness itself, always a painful betrayal, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. May 14, it's okay that we're not exactly the same, she said. We had different parents and well, you were plagued with a penis, and I'm plagued with other things, but that doesn't mean we can't collaborate and sing. Virus-free, her machines were stocked with virtual condoms. May 15, we all suspect, she says, the secret to Mike G's poetry is proud lots of masturbation. Ha ha, wink emoticon. May 16, it's okay that those who don't live the wisdom of the big things like human kindness, compassion, empathy, patience, forgiveness, and gratitude are mere babies, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. They gotta start somewhere, and being a baby is better than being a nothing. The mind parasites can suck it. Be brave. May 17, scanning the room for discernment, she found a shortage. Other humans scampering in pain and acting out badly. Meanwhile, the dirty old animists get together to fondle and watch the living rocks, mouth encouragement to the mud and the emptiness between particles, which need love as much as the rest of us. May 19, my dad's birthday. Left alone, I sometimes feel as empty as Mike G's rice bowl, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. But then, squinting into the sunset, I spy him, hunched in quiet dignity. He seems so serious, the poor man. I approach, and when close enough to see him scratching his chin stubble as if trying to figure out how to put a fresh grief in context, I feel as if I'm inside him. And inside him, I go to right where I'm needed most, the Mike G mind. Once embedded to all that cerebral lightning, hooked to the cortex whose job it is to winnow particles of chaos from the sanity field, I simply shore up his strength so that he can go on posting his poems on Facebook for yet another day for no one but a pitiful few to read. May 20. The lyric poet's mind is always in danger, and the lyric poet's future mental wellness is never given, is slave to where the mind goes, the shape and hunger of the obsessions, the weather. So if someday we lose our minds, many will blame the lifestyle the addictions, but the discerning will know that it's the art itself that killed us. All that poetry demanded we do, we did, and it killed us, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says, May 21. Everything he wrote, however veiled in the surreal or convoluted by the farcical or hidden in the nonsense, was deeply personal, painful, and celebratory, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. He was a most peculiar man, Paul Simon said. May 22. I'm a writer because something big went wrong a long time ago, and I'm not sure I even know what. And rather than dig furiously a hole in the ground like a chimpanzee in grief, I write a poem, and write another, until I can return to the world in time again, edit the paragraph of my face into a smile, and try to do good. May 24, I'm writing for that kid 1,000 years from now, clawing at the dirt, mud roots for family in the basket, bitten by flies, scabs on eyelids, and pus, and wondering if it's worth it. May 25, I'm never bored with him, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. He's a keeper until the brain tumor, just saying. When he floats into that anxiety cloud, one of his therapy unicorn llama friends simply slips him some tongue and says telepathically, it's okay, it's okay. May 26, the world, action, me, cut! May 27, my 48th birthday, I keep waiting for that flock of pink elephants to fly by and save us from reality. May 28, those pending sentences of joy, sands, madness, and other days seen through. I didn't use algebra, just mind leaping mountains, ocean, and stars, sparking against rocks and trying to find home. And thinking now about the crazy accident of your existence, my next trick is to order 2 happy beers, thought being one to you, so we can enjoy together the crazy intention of enjoying together. May 29. It's a good life if we don't weaken, if the shoes hold against the long mountain, if we're able to breathe when the air gets thin and the brain doesn't fall apart when it rains. If you give in to madness or worse, I'll continue to breathe without magic and trudge up the mountain alone, turning to the language of stones, writing only for the light of stars, feeding on the memories that night brings, then returning to the human things I'll remember how to laugh and sing. We understood that home is the place that does not change, so we left the world of change and turned to the lyric poem with all those walls of madness and all those magic birds. My significant others are biochemically incapable of optimism, so the burden of being optimism's standard bearer falls to me. Good luck with that, Marvin Mike G, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. The squirrel travails the rails for the nuts I leave, and leaves with an animal grin and a thank you. May 31, if Mike G does not cease immediately his stupid lies about how great we are, I'll withdraw my love, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. Fucking really? I say, I've made you. Fucking really? I say. And each night before sleep, she sings, it's a great, great life and we're fucked. It's a fucked up life and we're great. Thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you, Mike G. Rob Gorley, come on up, Rob.
I pack a lot of stuff for 2 points. Maybe I can do that, yeah. Okay, what have I got? An astronomical poem in 17 words, counting the title. Spinning. Earth carries us imperceptibly spinning on its irreversible orbit, alternating views of sunlight and bright lit stars. The one I wrote in May, I don't have the written for, I'm going to skip it, and I'm going to do a poem by Paul Mondour. 2010 collection. The poem is called At, like we have in our email address, A with a circle in it. Okay. At. Like the whorl of an out-of-this-world ear that has been lent to an oak gall wasp by a 10th century Irish monk who would hold out oak gall ink against the predicament in which he found himself. Like the ever-unfolding trunk of the elephant in the room that gives such a bad vibe. It vies with your old hippie girlfriend who once lent such weight to any argument to which you feared she might subscribe, including her insistence we abbreviate our most promising relationships. Like the scrolled-down tail of a capuchin monkey drawing on its inner strengths as it hammers short-sighted snail against short-snited snail that has nonetheless gone to extraordinary lengths. Like the tapeworm swallowed by a hippie who was once fat but is now kind of bummed out you've lost track of where she's at. Thank you.
We're next going to hear from the host at the open mic at Paper Tiger Coffee, Joyce Polson. Come on up, Joyce.
First off, let me make an announcement. Next Wednesday at Paper Tiger Coffee Roasters, I got a gal from Spokane who's published a new poetry book, and she's going to be touring here in Western Washington, and her Vancouver stop is going to be a Paper Tiger. Her name's Lauren Gilmore, so come on down and enjoy her new poetry. I'm going to share 3 poems tonight. They all are related in that they deal with love, each from a different perspective. First one's called Only Yesterday. When the mood swings melancholy, or the nostalgia swings into tears, there's a time machine effect. The fables of epitome dance in lighted glory, all magical energies of yours sing. All of this to commemorate the yesterdays now. The heart rumbles to past rhythms and the angst plots against the anguish. It is when this legend raises inside the head that we relive the preferences of love. The house of glass reflects like 1,000 years, and pristine stones lay strewn about, lost in reverie. There are those who have forgotten the existential, and others who suppress existence into a trance. But I live in the eternal now and wonder why, showering puzzles into my deep thoughts, deploring the musky path lined with cobwebs, and stashing hidden relics under the doormat. I wonder why the greedy evolution from here to there is lined with footprints from a lost time machine. And then, through a hazy mist of endless pasts, through the jungle of dense, steamy denials, through the broken terrain of nostalgic roads, through all the flotsam and jetsam of living, I ask only the inevitable question arising from hell, as it spreads its heavenly wings and unfolds in light. Why does it have to be this way instead of that way? When I ask the inevitable replies, why not, my child, for it is written in the rules, thou shalt love all who cross thy living path. This one, there's 2 words, not and not, K-N-O-T and N-O-T. I'll let everybody decide which words I'll read. Called not advice. Rewards are for square knots and round holes. Wishes come true are for holy knots squared. It is a square deal to tie a holy knot to truth. It is not a round square to tie one on. One knot leads to Gordian legends, all knotted up and nowhere to go. This is not a peek through knot hole, but a glimpse of round pegs and square holes. Thus we discover in a roundabout way that it is not that it is the knot that ties around squares. No, it isn't the knot that ties that love that binds. And now the third perspective about love, called I do. Not every marriage ends in divorce. Not every marriage lives happily ever after. It is the in-between adventure that shapes fate. And not every adventure begins with once upon a time. Cinderella lost a glass slipper, but it didn't shatter. Princess Fiona married Shrek. The fairy godmother was gay. The dragon ate the maiden. Snow White's apple was not poisoned by GMO. The husband got custody of a dozen with egg-roll. Hannibal Lecter died from indigestion. Alimony check really was in the mail. Romeo didn't commit suicide, he was murdered. Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded woman? Yes, sometimes it is the adventure you fall in love with, and sometimes that adventure comes happily ever after.
And next, it's seated behind Jim, was Rainy Night.
Right.
Herb was going next. Oh, you're first. I'm confused. We have a Barnes & Noble reading the last Tuesday of the month, and David Hill will be back. And for the life of me, I can't remember the featured reader, so I apologize, but the big deal with me is always you poets who come. I like to hear the open mics. Substitute teachers oftentimes read and write while they're doing their work because they really don't have a lot of work to do because they're kind of glorified babysitters, and so these came out of Battleground High School. Teachers at lunch. The teachers talk about the good old days when they were kids, the times when you could play until dark without interference from adults. Times when you and your friends rode bicycles 3 or 4 miles to the city pool and nobody had to lock their bikes. They were right where you left them when you came out. Times when kids could sneak over to Farmer Brown's pea patch and feast for hours, laying between the rows eating until you had your fill. Times when you could check your own Timex watch to see if you needed to get back for lunch. And then the inevitable sigh, I wish kids could have a childhood like ours. Before Amber Alerts and so many perverts, back when America still had its innocence. And then the comment is made by gesture, indicating the smartphone in the palm with all the answers to every wonder, the mystery solved. The fruit of the tree of knowledge was purported to be an apple, wasn't it? Then one day, your tax dollars paid for me to read a book in the library while I waited for an assignment because they didn't want me to go home. And after I read the book in the library, the title of the book was A Different Drum, a Charles Norman biography. This is what came from it. When Thoreau met Whitman. Thoreau was 39 and Whitman was 37 when they met. Alcott knew them both and thought they should meet. Walt Whitman had published Leaves of Grass the year before, and Emerson, Thoreau's dear friend, upon reading it, wrote to the then unknown poet, I greet you at the beginning of a great career. Whitman quoted him on the back of his next edition. Perhaps that is why Whitman and Thoreau met in a parlor. Why when Whitman and Thoreau met in a parlor, they surveyed each other curiously like two beasts. A threat may have been perceived, cold compliments were exchanged. Whitman, a man of the people, was polar opposite of Thoreau, who preferred squirrels and trees. Thoreau remarked about Whitman, this is a paraphrase, that he was strong and coarse, of sweet disposition, and well loved by his friends. Whitman noted Thoreau's lack of empathy for his fellow man and intimated that Thoreau was, quote, supercilious but likable, an interesting man, simple, conclusive. Needless to say, no friendship developed as Alcott may have hoped. Whitman, open and freewheeling, probably scared the shit out of Thoreau.
Next we're going to hear from a poet that knocked our socks off a few months ago, Mr. Herb Stokes. Come on, Herb.
Now the pants ain't coming off. Hello. You hear me back there? Jump up and down if you can hear me. Take your pants off if you can hear me. No one's taking off their pants, they can't hear me back there. Louder. Yes. Higher. Just about right. Oh, I can count to it. I must admit, I wrote this poem about marriage after hearing about you two deciding to go over the cliff together. That's enough. Okay, marriage, it's how. Marriage is a funny state. I don't mean it makes you laugh. But there are times your neck is stretched out even more than a giraffe. That's when your partner has a choice to let you sink into the pit or forgive a dumb remark and save you from a sea of shit. Marriage has its ups and downs. It is really up to you to get your ass to straighten out and do what you're supposed to do. It's no use saying, I didn't think, or she knows I wouldn't do that. You're standing there all balls, no brains, while she's giving you tit for tat. But closeness allows for dumb mistakes, as I've mentioned here before. While guys call it getting lucky, women call it being in love. That's it. We got more people behind me. Okay, and this is from the internet from a while ago. And it's about two of my favorite people, Catholic nuns. Two nuns, Sister Anne and Sister Ursula, are traveling through Transylvania in their car when a small vampire jumps onto the hood and curses at them through the windshield. What shall we do, Sister Ursula asked nervously. Turn the windshield wipers on, that should get rid of it, says Sister Anne. So Sister Ursula switches them on, but the vampire clings to the windshield and continues cursing at me. What shall I do now, she shouts. Try turning on the windshield washer. That should make him get off. So Sister Ursula did, but the vampire just laughed and clung on harder. And Sister Anne said, oh, I know. Show him your cross. So Sister Ursula rolled down the window, stuck her head out and yelled, hey you, get off the fucking car!
Thank you. And thank you for those words of encouragement and advice as we drive off the cliff. I'm a big believer in premarital everything. and I think that everybody should live with the person that they're going to marry before they do that. And we have lived together for quite some time, so there shouldn't be any, you know, big surprises.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see if after we get back from being on the road together and we do the meeting in September, you'll probably have an idea how that was. Oh, and next we are going to hear from Rosemary Lombard. Welcome, Rosemary, back to the...
This one is called The Minor in Me. It's for Dave Jarecki, who suggested the pattern after Jim Daniels. You bring out the boring white lie in me. You bring out the minor in me, the daily blackness of me, red scrubbed so briefly. You, my light, bring me the lamp I strap to my head, the way I search out our sustenance from the substance even darker brown. You bring out the shocks of the drills in me, their echo through my bones, re-echoing through our night with the rattle of the rails. The cold strikes the blackened, beaten cars. Do they quiver, rattle through your bones? You, your fear, bring out the fear in me, eternal fear of falling rock, the fear of eternal silence. This is an excursion more or less back to the 19th century, a story, invented, I admit, of a sailing incident, and with a thought of some of the popular ballads at the time. It's called, can't see it from here. It's called The Captain's Secret, or His Passion Was His Downfall. Went forth a frigate from the Firth of Forth, a warring ship from Blackwall Yard on Thames. The neighbor there, a good ship Pinafore, yet without that tricky Dick Deadeye aboard. Her only Deadeye's holy hardware meant to pitch and hold the tension on the rigging. Though orders from the Commodore said south, the captain ordered helmsman Low to head her north to scout for fossils bared by sea and storm. The captain's secret detour near the shore. With spyglass to his eye, he scanned the rocky bluffs for signs in new erosion of shapes like bones, where boulders had tumbled into the water. That fallen offshore rock was treacherous, a test for helmsman Low to guess the depth. The mainsail lagged before mid-breaths of breeze, and Low reflected, if the ship were grounded, he would be the one they'd call inept. Indeed, the hull soon scraped on fallen stone, and in a wake, too late, was tightly stuck. "Till we are free, I shall go exploring," said Captain Ebullient, and his party rowed to shore. "This captain's mad," said Low, and had the winches loose their ropes, till anchor and the kedge at stern sank among the seabed stones. So on turn of tide the men would not be stranded ashore, when soon the tide arose. And helmsman Low, his countenance dark, forswore another voyage with this reckless man, his rank conferred the noble blood alone. The north coast cliff, a wave-worn wall of rock, here rose above the narrow foreshore, where the sailors sought the Ammonites and Trilobites. Heedless of the rising wind and tide, the captain urged them on to find his quarry as he on toe slope probed the new-fallen stone. Then the portent of the North Sea storm turned violent, and too near the captain beat the battered bluff. Rock began to clatter down. A boulder, tree trunk thick, seemed willful in its aim, directed toward the foolish man, and struck him down to death. The sailors, straining, tried to move the stone, but effort was to no avail. With no regret, they abandoned him there, entombed beneath the boulder. The dinghy, left pulled hard, was now afloat, and the sailors clambered in. With luck, they reached the ship as crashing waves attacked the cliff. Anchors up! And the wheel turned south by a smiling Windsor Low.